The news breaking out of Alberta today is nothing short of explosive. For months, whispers have echoed through the halls of Ottawa, quiet rumors of backroom discussions, guarded phone calls, and unusual movements of Alberta officials south of the border. But now, the whispers are over. The truth is out. A secret deal between Alberta and Washington has been exposed, and the political fallout could shake the very foundation of this country. Alberta's Premier, Danielle Smith, long known for her defiance against Ottawa's authority, has been walking a fine line between loyalty to Canada and loyalty to her province's independence. And now, according to documents leaked from high-level sources, she has taken that defiance one step further. Without Ottawa's knowledge, without the blessing of Prime Minister Mark Carney, Alberta has signed an agreement directly with Washington, an agreement that bypasses the Canadian federal government entirely. At the center of this storm is energy, oil, gas, and the lifeblood of Alberta's economy. For years, Alberta has clashed with Ottawa over carbon taxes, pipelines, and restrictive environmental policies. And while Carney has pushed a national vision of green transformation, Danielle Smith has argued that Alberta should not be forced to sacrifice its wealth for what she calls Ottawa's political games. Now, it appears she has found a powerful ally, none other than U.S. President Donald Trump. Sources close to both governments revealed that the deal involves massive cross-border energy exports, bypassing federal bottlenecks and regulatory roadblocks. Alberta, in effect, has opened its doors directly to American companies, promising them stable access to its resources in exchange for guaranteed investment and, most importantly, political recognition. To put it bluntly, Alberta has gone rogue. The timing couldn't be more volatile. Ottawa has been struggling with growing unrest in the West, where resentment against federal policies has reached a boiling point. Saskatchewan has been openly flirting with its own sovereignty measures, and British Columbia has quietly complained about Ottawa's dominance in natural resource management. But Alberta's secret pact with Washington is a whole new level of defiance. Never before has a Canadian province dared to cut its own international deal behind the back of the federal government. And here's where it gets even more dangerous. President Trump is not hiding his enthusiasm. Reports suggest he views Alberta as a strategic partner in reducing U.S. dependence on OPEC and at the same time, a powerful card to play against Prime Minister Carney. Imagine the optics, a Canadian province aligning itself more closely with Washington than with Ottawa. For Trump, it's a masterstroke. For Carney, it's a nightmare. Inside Ottawa, officials are reportedly furious. Carney's inner circle is scrambling to assess the scope of this agreement. Is Alberta merely selling oil at favorable terms? Or is this the first step towards something even larger? Perhaps a pathway towards statehood or formal political alignment with the United States? These are no longer fringe questions. These are the scenarios being whispered in the corridors of power tonight. Danielle Smith, for her part, has remained tight-lipped. In a brief statement, she dismissed the leaks as speculation and insisted Alberta will always act in the best interests of its people. But notably, she did not deny the existence of talks with Washington. And her silence on the specifics has only fueled suspicion that Alberta has already crossed a line that Ottawa never imagined possible. The impact of this revelation is already rippling across the country. In Quebec, political leaders are asking whether Alberta's move undermines Canadian sovereignty itself. In Ontario, business leaders worry about the precedent. If Alberta can cut deals directly with foreign powers, what's to stop others? And in the West, many Albertans are celebrating this as the bold step they've been waiting for. On social media, hashtags praising Danielle Smith's defiance are spreading like wildfire, while critics accuse her of betraying Canada. Meanwhile, in Washington, Trump is reportedly preparing to hold a press conference where he may openly endorse Alberta's courage. Such a move would be unprecedented, a sitting U.S. president backing a Canadian province against its own federal government. But with Trump, unprecedented has become the new normal. The next question is obvious. What will Mark Carney do? The Prime Minister is known as a cool strategist, but this is a crisis unlike any he has faced. If he responds too softly, he risks looking weak in the eyes of both Canadians and the Americans. But if he comes down hard on Alberta, deploying legal or even constitutional challenges, he risks pushing Alberta further into Trump's embrace. Either path is fraught with peril, and then there's the unspoken fear, the possibility that Alberta's secret deal is only the beginning. If Alberta can strike a bargain with Washington, what stops them from negotiating defense cooperation, trade privileges, or even political integration down the road? For decades, the idea of a Canadian province breaking away was the stuff of hypotheticals. Tonight, it feels closer to reality than ever before. The stakes could not be higher. Billions of dollars are on the line, Canada's unity is under threat, and the balance of power in North America is shifting. Every decision in the coming days will shape the country's future. Will Carney move swiftly to shut down Alberta's defiance? Will Smith double down and dare Ottawa to stop her? And will Trump seize the moment to redraw the map of influence across the continent? But here's where the story takes an even more dramatic turn. Beyond the headlines, beyond the political maneuvering in Ottawa and Washington, the ground is shifting inside Canada itself. What many Canadians don't realize is that Alberta's deal isn't just about oil barrels and energy pipelines. It's about leverage. It's about reshaping who really holds power in this country. And that realization is sparking fear, anger, and celebration all at once. Behind closed doors in Ottawa, members of Carney's caucus are reportedly divided. Some are urging the Prime Minister to crush Alberta's defiance immediately, even considering emergency measures to reassert federal control. Others warn that a heavy-handed approach will backfire, painting Carney as an enemy of the West and giving Smith exactly the ammunition she needs to portray herself as Alberta's protector against Ottawa's bullying. Carney is trapped in a political vice, squeezed between national unity and regional rebellion. Meanwhile, provincial premiers are watching closely. Saskatchewan's government has quietly issued statements of support for Alberta's right to control its resources, a veiled nod to the possibility of joining Alberta in striking similar deals. Manitoba, though more cautious, has not ruled out exploring alternative trade relationships. And in British Columbia, where energy and environment clash daily, the government faces pressure from both sides: push back against Ottawa or risk being left behind in a new Western alliance. For everyday Canadians, this revelation is playing out like a thriller. On the streets of Calgary and Edmonton, some Albertans are proudly waving American flags, celebrating what they see as the first step toward true independence from Ottawa. At the same time, nationalists across the country are furious, accusing Danielle Smith of selling out Canada's sovereignty for short-term gains. The mood is electric, unstable, and unpredictable. And let's not forget the economic stakes. Already, Canadian markets are jittery. Investors are asking hard questions. If Alberta can bypass Ottawa, does that make Canada a less reliable partner? What happens if Alberta begins cutting deals that favor U.S. companies over Canadian ones? As this story unfolds, one thing is certain: Canada has entered uncharted territory. The shockwaves of this secret deal will be felt not just in Ottawa, not just in Edmonton, but across every province, every border, and every international partnership Canada holds. What happens next could define the fate of this nation for generations. And so, as we wait for the next move, from Carney, from Smith, from Trump, we are left with a chilling reality. Canada is no longer facing speculation about Western alienation. Today, it is facing the undeniable proof that one of its most powerful provinces has taken a step away from Ottawa's control and into Washington's arms. Whether that step is temporary or permanent remains to be seen. But one thing is clear: the old rules are broken. A new game has begun. Stay alert, because this is far from over. The news